In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at a range of phrases and expressions that's really going to help you compare and contrast lots of different things. And comparing and contrasting, saying things are the same or saying things are different, is something very common within speech as well as writing and even reading in text. So it's important that we have a range of fluency within this skill set. Okay, so let's take a look at the phrases we'll be learning today. I'll run through them quickly now and we'll jump into a live speaking video where I'll give more examples of just a few of each. So starting with compare. Alike, similar to, as well as, same as or samey, likewise, akin to. So a couple of less common phrases there that I think, if you use in the right situation, it can really make you sound more fluent and native. So I'll pick a few of these for the live speaking video and give more examples too. In terms of contrast language, saying things are different, not alike. On the other hand, in contrast to, dissimilar, unalike, and however. Okay, so let's jump into that live video and I'm just going to pick out 3 of my favourite expressions from compare and 3 of my favourite expressions from contrast. Okay, our first expression is similar and similar to. So this is just to say that something is the same. For example, if you were to describe a person, you could say, my brother is very similar to me. We are similar. So we can use it as a verb, similar to. My brother is similar to me. We can also use it as a noun. We are very similar. We have common characteristics. Similar to, similar. Next up for comparative language when describing is same as or samey. Now, same as is a little bit more formal. It's less chatty, whereas samey is more like almost slang. So something that maybe you would only really use around friends or at a non-formal event. Same as. The weather in England is the same as the weather in Scotland. It's awful. The weather in England is the same as the weather in Ireland. So you can use it as a verb. That car is the same as the car I own. Or you can use it again as a noun. Those cars are pretty samey. And that colloquial phrasing there, pretty samey, pretty similar. The cars are pretty samey, really. And our last expression for comparative language is akin to. Now, this is slightly rarer in its use. It's used less. And it's quite a formal, academic sounding phrase, akin to. So you could say that football is akin to rugby. It sounds more educated. It's probably not something that you would say so much in front of your friends. You might say it more at formal events. Well, this book is quite akin to the other books released by this author. You could say this restaurant is quite akin to the other restaurant that I've been to. So it's basically a more formal way to say it is similar. It is nearly the same as, akin to. My parents, my mum is really akin to my father. They have similar characteristics. Akin to. Akin to. When contrasting things, saying things are different in when you're describing, we can use this verbal phrase, in contrast to. And it's kind of saying that something is different. In contrast to Thailand, the weather in England is really cold. In contrast to Thailand, the sun isn't really as strong as in the UK. It's an opening phrase that you can use at the beginning of your speaking. In contrast to sugary sweets, vegetables are very healthy. So it's a contrasting phrase. It begins our speaking and opens up the idea that we're going to be saying something is different. In contrast to sports, watching Netflix is pretty unhealthy. In contrast to. Our next phrase is dissimilar, and it's used as a noun to say that two things are different. Dissimilar. So we could say, for example, horror movies are very dissimilar to comedy movies because they're so different. Horror movies don't make you laugh, they make you scared. Comedy movies make you laugh, or generally that's the case. Horror movies are very dissimilar to comedy movies. Dissimilar. It's quite a useful phrase to know. It's slightly more formal in its use, less chatty and colloquial, and it definitely will make you sound more fluent. It's more of a higher level piece of vocabulary. Horror movies are very dissimilar to comedy movies. In a similar way, we can use the word unalike. Much like we can for comparing, they are alike, they are the same. We can quite easily just say they are so unalike. If we're describing people, they're so different. Those places are so unalike. So it's basically to say that things are different. Dogs are very unalike to cats. And that's definitely true too. So another really great word in saying something is different. Unalike. Dogs are so unalike to cats. They are so different. Okay, so just 6 phrases within this live speaking lesson. I highly recommend that you have a go at using them now. So you could stop the video and just have 15 minutes using them, practicing them, listening back to my examples and creating your own examples within speaking. And of course, any questions, jump into the Q&A feature.